Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thanks.
I think we're going to be joined by one more person. Am I right about that?
That's right.
Okay, let's hold on. Welcome everyone to another Tahirih Instagram Live. We're just waiting for one more participant to join us. We're very excited to be with you today. Let's see. So for those who are just joining, you know that my name is Archie and I'm the CEO of the Tahirih Justice Center. I'm really excited to be with you today again. I have with me here Morgan Weibel, who is our Executive Director of Tahirih in the San Francisco Bay Area. Morgan and I have worked together now for many years. We're old friends at this point and old colleagues. And here we are, we're being joined by Minh. Welcome, Minh.
Hi.
Hi. So I was just sharing with some of our viewers who are joining in right now that we are doing another Instagram Live. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Archie and I'm the CEO of the Tahirih Justice Center. As you know, I've started doing some of these Instagram Live these opportunities to connect with you in our audience to give you a little bit more of an insight, an insider view into what we do at the Tahirih Justice Center, who we're working with, why we're doing the work we're doing, what issues we care about. And I've been trying to highlight some of our staff from around the country. Today we have Morgan Weibel, who's the Executive Director of our San Francisco Bay Area office. And I'm really excited to welcome Minh, who is the Executive Director of My New Red Shoes, also in the Bay Area. Today, instead of just focusing on what we're doing at Tahirih, we're going to highlight a partnership that we have. One of the very important things to us as an organization is that we are working in community and in partnership, linking arms, working hand in hand with members of our community who are doing amazing work and contributing to the society around them, just like we are, so that we can ensure that we're working in the most client-centered way possible. We want those immigrant women and girls, survivors of gender-based violence, to feel loved, held, and cared for, not just by us, but by others around them in their community. So welcome, Minh, welcome, Morgan. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Minh, to introduce yourself a little bit more. And maybe while you're doing that, go ahead and share a little bit more about the mission of your organization. And then I'm gonna pass it to Morgan to do the same.
Thanks, Archie, and thank you for having me join you guys. I've been looking forward to this conversation. So my name is Minh Ngo, and I am the Executive Director of My New Red Shoes. We are a nonprofit organization based in the San Francisco Bay Area, founded in 2006. Our mission is to improve the quality of life and well-being for children and youth experiencing economic hardship. And we do this by working in the community with partners to make sure that children and their families have their basic needs met by helping to deliver essentials, shoes, clothing, and other things that they may need, and by delivering direct economic assistance.
That's amazing, Minh. That's so much work that you're doing in the community to help individuals in really, really tangible ways. I admire your mission and I'm excited that you're out there doing it. I've been looking at your website and encourage other people to do the same. There's so much information there. There's incredible stories. There's information about the folks who work there, and it's really an incredible experience. Even just to visit your website, I'm sure the work is rewarding. Morgan, do you want to share a little bit about what your office is up to, what your Tahirih office is up to in San Francisco?
Yeah. So first of all, my name is Morgan Weibel. Great to be here with you all today. And thank you so much for joining, not just today, but in the partnership of this project. I'm really excited about it. So Tahirih opened our doors here in the Bay Area in January of 2017 to clients. And we did that building off of almost 2 decades of experience serving gender-based survivors across the country with free legal and social services support. And so that's a lot of what we do right here in the Bay Area as well. We're working, like you mentioned earlier, Archie, with our partners to innovate and to try and rise and meet the challenges that folks are seeing here in the Bay Area. And so I look forward to talking a little bit more in depth about that with you all in a moment.
Awesome. Thank you, Morgan. Min, can you tell us a little bit about the origins of the partnership between Tahirih and My New Red Shoes, where it came from, how it started?
Yeah, absolutely. So partnerships and working with partners to really strengthen our community and support families is at the heart of everything My New Red Shoes does. And I have actually been looking for a project to partner with Tahirih on for a number of years, since 2019, when we were first introduced to the organization by our then board chair, Joanne Guo, who is also an advisory council member with Tahirih. But as I got to know the organization, one of the things that really resonated with me, and I developed a deep appreciation for what I see as our shared values, and really for Tahirih's trusted relationship and advocacy for clients, and centering the client experience. And those are qualities we look for in a partner, and ones that really made me want to work with the organization. So fast forward a couple of years to 2021, when we decided to explore a pilot for guaranteed income. When that opportunity emerged, Tahirih was the first organization I thought of. For those reasons. And about 6 to 8 months after that outreach, Project Empower was born.
That's awesome. Well, what I love about that story is that a single person's volunteerism and interest in connecting with her own community led her to serve in different ways on different organizations. And through her service, your partnership was born, which is such a beautiful thing. It's a testament not only to those of us inside the organization who have an open mind and are eager and ready and willing to participate in these new ways, but also to that volunteerism of that individual. So that's wonderful. Can you tell me, Min, a little bit more about the goals of Project Empower? It sounds like a really incredible project that you've started.
No, so Project Empower is really the first of its kind guaranteed income pilot that focuses specifically on survivors of gender-based violence, immigrant survivors and their children. And I think one of the incredible aspects of pulling this together was that it was really co-created by survivors for other survivors. And for those who don't know what guaranteed income is, it is a program where you provide regular unconditional payments to recipients. And in our pilot, we provided families with $1,000 a month for 6 months. And in building this out, the goals that we really came up with, hand in hand with the clients themselves, were that by receiving these funds and the supportive services that Tahirih provides, it would help to improve the well-being of immigrant survivors and their children by helping them to meet basic needs. That includes rent, food, utilities, basics. It would provide financial stability and the support that families really need. And in the longer term, it would give them the flexibility to start to set goals and to plan for their financial future. And that, that was a really important element of this. And even though guaranteed income initiatives have a very long history and have demonstrated their impact around the world for decades, this is a relatively new set of programs here domestically in the US, and primarily in the wake of the pandemic is when we started to see more of these guaranteed income initiatives emerge. But I think one of the things we're just incredibly proud of with this is how much input clients gave, and that really is what contributed and is contributing to the success of the initiative, from the duration to the amount to the other types of supports that they would get with this. Beyond the monthly income, all participants were connected to high quality financial accounts so that they could receive the funds without extra fees. They were set up with savings accounts. They had advocacy and support from Tahirih, and we checked in fairly early in the process to make sure that everything was going well. And you know, all the clients gave thumbs up that this is what they had in mind. It was working in the ways that they thought it would. And just hearing the impact that this was having has been really rewarding and meaningful.
That's amazing, Min. I think you mentioned that the pandemic in particular had an impact. And I think, we can all remember reading in the early days of the pandemic so many stories about people, especially those who were participating in the gig economy, who were, helping in restaurants, who were doing home healthcare or housework, were no longer able to do those kinds of jobs because people were suddenly home. People were afraid to have people in their home because they could get sick. And so I think we experienced at Tahirih a lot of our clients having a very hard time making ends meet. So $1,000 a month could go a very long way for somebody in that situation. Morgan, why immigrant survivors of gender-based violence? I have a recollection when I was in direct service of my clients struggling a lot with making ends meet on a month-to-month basis. But can you share a little bit about why your clients in the Bay Area in particular might need and benefit from this?
Yeah. And, you pointed out the impact of the pandemic. In the first quarter alone of the pandemic, we saw a 900% increase in requests from our clients for help with financial assistance.
Wow.
So Project Empower in so many ways was the answer that we were looking for in the moment to respond to that type of challenge. But the other thing is that we have to keep in mind that immigrant survivors of gender-based violence are often left to wait for years for the resolution of their legal cases.
Yeah.
We're seeing so many backlogs, and they do that often with very limited governmental support. And so the long wait times often heighten their financial and emotional distress. And we knew that this was a clear segment of our client population that could benefit from guaranteed income. Mm-hmm. We also knew that if we could show success with this cohort, despite so many of the structural barriers that our clients face, things like language access, right? 80% of the participants were non-English speakers as their primary language. Yeah. Their trauma survivorship, that touches on so many aspects of a survivor's experience as they navigate the world. And the fact that some of them were undocumented, which also in turn means they were unbanked. They couldn't, simply open up a bank account.
Right.
We knew that if we could prove that the project could work with this population, even amongst the most marginalized in our communities, people could see that guaranteed income could really have a tremendous impact on stabilizing.
That's really interesting to start actually with the most marginalized, make a case, demonstrate impact and success, and then maybe make guaranteed income something more available to a broader population. A lot of people would start with the center and then see if it trickles out to those on the margins, and you did the opposite, which is pretty remarkable. So what have some of the findings been from the pilot? What have you seen? We heard a little bit from Min about some of the successes and the feedback and rewards. What did you see as you worked your way through this pilot, which is now closed, right? The pilot has completed.
That's right.
So yep. What are the next steps and what did you learn?
Yeah. So, we're still crunching the data and looking at trends, but what we've seen overall is that families use these extra funds in kind of like three primary approaches. The first was to invest in their future, savings, to try to kind of build some support and network there. The second was to pay for what we call like previously deferred expenses. So remember, the population we're working with are domestic violence survivors. A concrete example of that is one participant had suffered, as a result of the domestic violence, some dental issues and had for years prolonged going to the dentist to get those taken care of. With the infusion of this funding, they were able to go to the dentist and get that corrected.
Wow.
And then we also saw in the same category unanticipated or unexpected expenses, right? So some of our clients set out to save money, but then something, you know, unexpected comes up, like a car accident from one of the primary household breadwinners, right? And so rather than that completely destabilizing the family, these funds went to repairs for the car and kind of keeping the family afloat during that period of time. And then the third category of kind of spending that we saw was investing in children. Remember that the cohort was specifically domestic violence survivors and parents with children that were under the age of 18. And so what they did was they invested in their families and their kids. And this could look like anything from purchasing school supplies to one participant reported purchasing a birthday present for their child for the first time.
That's incredible. Now, I want to make sure to point out in the comments we're getting during this Instagram Live, there are hearts like this, there are wow exclamations, there are red hearts floating up on the side, and an I love you, Min. So there you have some fans who have joined, and we're so happy to have you with us today to talk and learn a little bit more. I want to share with this group, and we will also be sharing a little bit more broadly. Both of you are going to participate in a webinar, is that right? On December 13th at 11 a.m. Pacific. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if folks are joining and want to hear more and want to learn more about it, there will be a webinar. I assume a little bit more in-depth information than we can get into in this particular live. As we wrap up, for those who are listening, I want to give both of you a chance to maybe address what do you think are some next steps and where are we going from here with Project Empower? Min, let me turn to you first.
You know, I think first and foremost, at a community level, I really hope that our partnership and this pilot and the success that we've been able to demonstrate really motivates other community-based organizations to consider guaranteed income as a part of the portfolio of support that they would provide to clients. I talked about how guaranteed income is emerging and we're seeing more of it every single day. But at the end of the day, those resources are still too few and far between for many. And it's really the warriors on the front lines in the communities who see where these gaps are. And I think it's a real opportunity for community-based organizations to identify who in their community are the most marginalized, are the most vulnerable, and who don't have access. I mean, one of the core things we had looked at in building this pilot was who doesn't currently have the ability to access these kinds of supports that already exist. And let's make sure that we don't leave them out. And we don't continue to leave them out, and we bring them into the fold of whatever solutions we bring forward, right? Amazing. And that's exactly what we did. And so, you know, I hope that that occurs. But then more broadly speaking, I hope that our results, along with the high impact of the many other programs that are occurring, that really demonstrate giving unconditional cash to families. And that literally means families can spend it in the ways they choose, in the ways they need, in the ways that they prioritize. They are the expert of their lives, and they deserve that trust and that dignity, and hence the name Project Empower. That is really at the root of what it means to empower a family. It means to trust them and give them the resources and enable them to do what they need with that. But I think with all of our collective impact, I hope that it offers an opportunity for our leaders to take notice and to really rethink public policy in a way that centers those in need in our country, that really puts resources into the hands of low-income families and struggling families, and provides it to them in a way that that supports their that supports their strength, intervening early. Either way, This is all something that we take on. And at the end of the day, reducing poverty is a public good that we should all be able to support and rally behind.
That's amazing, man. You're getting hell yeah and stuff like that in the comments. People are really resonating with what you're saying. I agree completely. This is such a unique project because it really sounds like it's putting trust, as you said, in the people who need to benefit from this program instead of saying in a top-down way, this is what we want you to spend this money on, which is how most granting programs work. So this is a very, very unique project. I'm so excited and proud that we're a part of it. Morgan, what do you see next for Tahirih, for our partnership, and for Project Empower?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not every day that you get the opportunity to work on a project like this and remove some of those structural barriers that are standing in the way of our clients. So, you know, we want to continue this for sure, so that our clients can stand in their own power and be their own stewards of their own future. And so even though, you know, our first cohort has just ended, the 6-month pilot is over, we hope to continue an open dialogue with the participants from that project so that we can both continue to assess how these funds are impacting their lives, but also, you know, Minh mentioned in the beginning, this was like a co-developed project with our clients. We used a human-centered design process, meaning clients were at the table in designing this. And so they're also at the table and giving us feedback on how we need to change it for the next future cohort and how we can improve upon the process and the program. And so want to keep in touch with our clients to be able to get that information so that our next cohort is going to be successful in the future. And maybe I'll hand it over to you, Minh, to say a little bit about the next cohort.
Yeah, so we are actively raising funds and building support so that we can extend this to a second cohort and beyond. I think we've all been just really humbled and thrilled by the impact and response that we have had from clients. And I know Morgan, for the caseworkers, everyone is seeing the impact, and we want to make sure that this is something that we can continue to build on and move into the future and make available for more immigrant survivors.
Amazing. I'm going to say a huge thank you to both of you for your leadership and stewardship of this incredible project, Empower. I am so proud that I get to work at an organization where we are blessed with a leader like Morgan, who is working closely with a leader like Minh and developing a project that is truly co-developed with those who need it and will continue to build and serve not just those who need it, but their families and their communities and the community we all live in. Because as you said, we all get better when we invest in each other. Thank you so much to both of you. I encourage anyone who is listening today or listens in the future when you watch this video to join the webinar and to learn more. And thank you so, so much to my new red shoes and to Morgan out in San Francisco for being with me today. It was lovely to see you both.
You too. Thank you, Archie. Thank you, Morgan.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so
Have a
much.
great day, everyone.
See you all on December 13th for the webinar. Bye.
Bye.